In this video, I'll introduce you to sliders. Sliders are special animated panels that can really bring your website to life. Each slider is made up of a series of panels which often contain combinations of text, pictures and objects. We're going to look at editing the sliders, which form part of the various templates that come with WebPlus. There are several different types of sliders, but the principles of editing them are the same. As you can see, I've already opened the prospectus template in WebPlus. If you want to follow along with this tutorial, you can access this template from the Startup Assistant. Select Templates on the left, and then click Theme Layouts, Desktop Websites, Prospectus. Click OK. The home page is displayed in the workspace and selected in the Site tab. At first, it's often difficult to identify which objects on a template are sliders. That's why it's a good idea to preview the template to see where the sliders are and what content they contain. On the standard toolbar, click the down arrow next to Preview Site and click Preview in Window. Straight away, we can see this slider at the top of the page. Notice that each of the panels is automatically fading in over the previous one. Try hovering your cursor over the 5 vertical bars below. Each of these are sliders. On mouse over, you can see the second panel appears on top of the first panel. Let's edit each of these sliders now. To begin, select the horizontal slider at the top of the page. These buttons below indicate the slider is on the master page. This means that it will appear on all the pages in the site which have this particular master page assigned to them. Click Edit on Master Page below the slider to quickly access the master page. Although it looks like the slider is selected, in fact it's only a picture that is selected. The easiest way to accurately select objects on your page is in the Objects tab on the right. You can see that this picture forms part of one of the panels that makes up the slider. On the tab, select the slider that the panel belongs to. Notice that a solid box surrounds the slider and there are 2 blue arrows underneath. Use these to navigate between the slider's panels. This slider is made up of 3 panels and we'll edit each of these in turn. Once you've selected a panel, either by using the blue arrows or by clicking on it in the Objects tab, you can select its placeholder pictures and text frames directly on the page and then fill them with your own content. I'll add some of my pictures to the Assets tab. At the bottom of the Pictures category, click Add. Navigate to your pictures, select the ones you want to use, and then click Open. Select the placeholder picture you want to replace and drag one of your own pictures onto the frame. Use the frame's control bar to position the pictures correctly. For more information, see the video Pictures 2 Framed Picture Positioning. When you've finished editing the first panel, collapse its contents and then select the next panel in the Objects tab. Repeat this process until all of the panels are filled. Let's preview the slider to see how it looks in action. I think the slider seems to be moving quite slowly. Fortunately, it's easy to decrease the length of time for which each panel is displayed. Either on the Objects tab or on your page, double-click the slider. The Edit Slider dialog will appear. At the top of the dialog, decrease the panel loop time. This is the length of time in milliseconds that each panel is displayed for. The preview below will update to reflect the changes. When you're happy, click OK. OK, now we've learnt the basics of editing sliders, we'll look at a slightly more complex example. On the Site tab, double-click the home page to display it in the workspace. As you can see, the changes I've made to the slider on the master page have reflected throughout the site. These 5 sliders are identical, so I'll demonstrate how to edit the first one, and then you can have a go at editing the rest yourself. On the Objects tab, scroll down to find the 5 sliders. Most of the objects on the tab have a small thumbnail image next to their name, which should help you find them. Click the small icon next to the slider's name to view its content. As before, select the panel you want to edit first. This one has various text objects on it. Select each text frame in turn and then replace the placeholder text with your own text. Use the zoom tools on the hint line at the bottom of the workspace to zoom in for a better view if you need to. Double-click the button at the bottom of the panel and select the text in the button label field. Replace it with your own text. When you've finished editing the first panel, collapse its contents on the Objects tab and select the second panel. Choose a picture from the Assets tab and then drag it onto the placeholder picture. Replace the heading too. It's a good idea to make the headings match so the panels blend seamlessly together. Before we preview the slider, I'll quickly show you how to edit some other slider properties. Double-click the slider to access the Edit Slider dialog. On the Options tab, you can change the animation style by selecting a different style from the drop-down menu. You may have noticed that the panel loop time field we edited earlier is unavailable for this slider. That's because the panels don't loop automatically. The second panel appears on mouse over, as we discovered at the start of this video. On the Panels tab, you can see all of the panels that are part of this slider. From here, you can add, copy, and delete panels, or even change the order in which they are displayed. To finish, let's preview our slider. Remember, we need to hover over it to see it in action. At the moment, this button at the bottom of the second panel doesn't link anywhere, but you could easily add a hyperlink to a different page in your site where the user can find out more information. Search hyperlinks in WebPlus Help to find out how to add hyperlinks to objects on your site. And that's it. I hope you've enjoyed learning how to edit sliders and display your content in an exciting and imaginative way. To find out more about WebPlus, see the Learn section of the Startup Assistant. Thanks for watching.